we've provided very capable shoulder-launched anti-aircraft defense systems, but they only range up to about 10,000 feet. That will be so important to defeating the ballistic missiles from Russia that really pack the greatest punch. So when they get through the defenses that Ukraine has, which are gradually being depleted, they are doing enormous damage and destruction. The Ukrainians have shown tremendous affinity and ability in their training. They don't take coffee breaks, they take short breaks. They want to get back to the front lines. We have been leading NATO and the rest of the Western world. Very impressive.
The Russians call this, as they have, as you know, General, other weapons that we've provided Ukraine, provocative, but these especially so. What do you make of that?
Well, it's ironic since they're purely defensive, of course, Neil. What they will do is substantially augment the capabilities of the Ukrainian anti-ballistic missile defenses in particular. As you'll recall, we've provided very capable shoulder-launched anti-aircraft defense systems, but they only range up to about 10,000 feet. We've provided some others that provide a medium range, and this will provide the high range that will be so important to defeating the ballistic missiles from Russia that really pack the greatest punch and thus do the greatest damage and destruction to the civilian infrastructure that the Russians have been targeting, trying literally to turn out the lights, turn off the heat, and turn off the water for the Ukrainians during this winter.
So I take it, and I don't know the complexities of these missiles, so I apologize, General, but that they can shoot down drones. But we've also engineered them that they will not be capable of going so far as to get into Russia, correct?
Well, that's correct. Now, again, this is not an anti-drone system. This is an anti-ballistic missile system. So this will be focused on the cruise and ballistic missiles that Russia has been shooting at the major infrastructure sites around cities such as Kyiv, Kharkiv, and so forth. The drone problem is a separate one, but much smaller munitions. These are huge munitions and again, have an enormous explosive power. So when they get through the defenses that Ukraine has, which are gradually being depleted, they are doing enormous damage and destruction. So this will help to plug that gap to very substantially augment with a much more sophisticated system than Ukraine has right now. It will take weeks. I'm not sure it would be multiple months. The Ukrainians have shown tremendous affinity and ability in their training. They don't take coffee breaks. They take short breaks. They want to get back to the front lines. And they've been remarkably quick at picking up the skills and the knowledge and expertise needed to employ the sophisticated systems that we have sent to them. And this, of course, today, I assume the announcement that President Biden makes will take our assistance just since 24 February, the invasion, to well over $21 billion worth of arms, ammunition, and other material. That's really extraordinary. It dwarfs all of the other Western assistance put together. I'm very much with Senator McConnell on this, that this is not just about helping Ukraine preserve its independence, territorial integrity, and sovereignty, and ensuring security of NATO Europe. This is about cold, hard U.S. national security interests.
It might very well be, General, but as you've heard, a lot of Republicans are chafing at the idea that we're picking up most of the tab. I believe close to 80% of it, tucked into that omnibus spending measure. The $1.7 trillion is another 40+ billion here. And Democrats are trying to push it as Ukraine needs us. We need your vote to approve this. But some Republicans, including Kevin McCarthy himself, who just could be the next speaker, wants to track exactly where this money is going. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's very legitimate. And there are numerous initiatives ongoing, and there will be more as a result of this legislation to track where it's going. Various inspector generals and government accounting office and other mechanisms needed to do that. So I think that's absolutely valid. Those concerns are real, and there shouldn't be a blank check. I think he's correct about that. There should be a check, however. And frankly, the biggest champions, you heard Lindsey Graham, you heard Senator McConnell. These are the Republicans in the Senate. Frankly, these are the individuals who hung with us during the tough early days of the surge in Iraq to enable us to get to the progress that we ultimately achieved there. They are solidly behind this. I fully agree with that, and certainly with the other members of Congress from both parties who are supporting it. But this is about, again, our interests at heart. And make no mistake about it, what we do here resonates around the world. And if we want deterrence elsewhere to be solid, and we want potential adversaries around the world to recognize that we have not just the capabilities, but the will to employ them, it's very important that we demonstrate that here. And we have been doing that. We have been leading NATO and the rest of the Western world very impressive